Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna explain the process of building and writing your healer node for a given boss fight. Using node reminders has been the standard for healers for a long time now, as it makes you much more consistent unless you focus on the important parts of the fight without missing your assignments. So first, you will need some add-ons and weakauras to have everything work properly. You need the Methods Ray Tools add-on to actually write the node in. You need weakauras to run the Kaze MRT Reminders weakaura that shows the icons and makes the text-to-speech happen. You need either DBM or big wicks for certain bosses where you need timers for different phases of the boss. The weakaura can grab information from the add-on to know when you face a boss to adjust the timers. The ID Tips add-on. This isn't required, but you need to write the spell ID into the node for it to work. And unless you want to constantly alt-tabbing into Wowhead to check what IDs your spells have, this helps you quickly check them directly in the tooltip. Now, to write down the node, while not in combat, you will open the MRT options, go to the node sections, and then open your personal node. We are using the personal node as that is only for you. Using the main node could get overridden if your raid leader or healing officer shares a different node. Both nodes work together fine for the reminders, and it is normal for your healing officer to assign some things on the main node and for you to set up other things for yourself on your personal node. Then, on the option of the Kaze Reminders weakaura, we can do some setup too. We need to enable the personal node so it grabs reminders from it too, and not only from the main node. And we can configure if we want text-to-speech as well or use the icons with the timers. You can also set up how much time before does the reminder show up. Now, for our example, I am using phase 1 of Heroic Queen Ansurek for this. I'm very early into the fight. You can already see I have a reminder up on my screen for time dilation. Before we even started pulling, one of my tanks told me that they were gonna need time dilation on them 10 seconds into the fight. And so I opened my node and wrote this line into it. This is the format your personal node should take. You write down the time between brackets first and then the spell ID or another set of brackets after. For preservation, there's a couple of things to keep in mind when making your own node. The most important one in my opinion is that you want to use Emerald Communion as soon as possible and as many times as possible, because it is not only one of your raid cooldowns but also your mana recovery tool, and getting more uses out of it means you have more mana overall during the fight. And so, we'll look for the first big damage event in the fight and try to see how we fit Emerald Communion into it. For Ansurek, I found it here. Around 45 seconds into the fight, after the burst jump, the raid takes a big hit of damage. And so, I add this to my node. A little bit after this, the first root happens, and the whole raid takes damage while being lightly stacked. This is a perfect situation for Dreamflight, as the raid is clumped together and you also clear your own root in the process. And so, I put Dreamflight in my node. Now, after that, once again my tank asked me to time dilation them at the 1 minute and 43 seconds mark for another tank buster. And so I added it to my notes. I also got assigned to use Time Spiral during the root set at 1 minute 48 seconds, and we add that in as well. And I rewind right after, once the root damage actually hits the raid. As you can see, this is a mixture of me seeing when the best times to use my healing cooldowns is, and also being assigned to use raid utility. When raiding, it is very important to be consistent, and always use your cooldowns at the same times every pull, because most of your raid depends on them. If someone is using the extra mobility charge from your time spiral to break out of a certain set of routes, then not having it on time 1 pull can easily lead to them dying. Node reminders are a great way to stay consistent and free up mental space that you can instead use improving your moment-to-moment gameplay. To help you figure out specific timings and keep track of your nodes, you can use Viserio's CD Planner. I will leave a link to it in the description below, and it has its own setup guide. That will be all for now. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to let me know about them in the comments or on the Spirit Bloom Pro Discord. Bye bye.